Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I
Oh,
can
good.
hear.
My name is Clover Brown.
Hi, good evening, Miss
Hi.
Brown.
Good.
And I'm Janet Richards.
Good evening, Miss Richards.
Thank
Are
you.
you seeing me?
Yes, I'm seeing Clover and I'm seeing Carol Sharp,
I'm seeing Carol and
June Elizabeth. Yes.
well, I haven't seen June yet. So she's.
Okay.
Oh, I can see. Yes,
Is,
Dahlia.
is our president of the Mary Sequel there? Is Glenda there?
Sorry.
Oh, there's June.
Is Glenda there, Clover?
I'm looking. I can't see her. Let me.
Right. Just going to ask her to make sure she's got a thing on mute when she.
Oh yes. After the, yes. I'm looking to see if she's there.
Because sometimes she forgets to put it on mute, and she did last Thursday.
After
And
the last meeting, yes, yes.
it wasn't very wonderful.
No. No, she's not there yet. No.
Okay. Right.
So hi everyone, nice to see you.
I see you.
Hello. Hello.
Pleasure.
Where are you? Are you in Jamaica or in England or Canada? New York.
I'm in New York. Where are you?
York. Okay. I'm
Where-
in England. Yeah.
Where are you, Clover?
I'm in UK.
And Clover and myself, we're cousins to Dr. McDaniel Dixon.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Dahlia McDaniel Dixon.
And where are you, Azet?
I'm here in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Do you have a filter on your lens? Because you are not clear.
Okay.
So who's not clear?
Me.
Me?
Yeah, Azet. That's
Are you
okay.
seeing it better?
Yes, I'm seeing it better. But still be a little clearer.
Right.
Hello, Dahlia.
I'm gonna turn the lights on as well. Ethan.
Hi, everyone.
The lens is dirty.
Hi. Try to close this.
Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
Doing the best I
I know. New skills we're learning.
can.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there, Eva.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, look who's on there. Are you Dahlia McDaniel Dixon? I can see her on there.
Okay, June, I'm fine, thanks.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, thanks.
Can't see her.
You can't see Nikki. That's all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome.
You're on mute. You're,
Hearing you.
you're on mute.
We thank you for joining us today, albeit virtually, for this forum. I'm especially welcoming all of our sponsors and guests, which include Citibank, NA, Sagicor Bank, National Commercial Bank, CIBC First Caribbean, Scotiabank, the GMMB Group, First Global Bank, First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union, Gleaner Premium, and JMN. I am Renee Menzies McCallum, Chair of the Women's Leadership Initiative, which was formed by former U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica, Sue Cobb, in 2004. Since then, our organization has earned quite a positive reputation for our work towards human development in Jamaica. Amongst our flagship programs are our Darkness to Light program, through which we teach teachers and caregivers how to prevent, detect, and treat child sexual abuse. Our Conversation with Boys, which is our forum for young boys to help with socializing and giving them a forum to discuss matters of concern to them, including cyberbullying, empathy for other students, peer pressure, and the pitfalls of drug and alcohol abuse, but very importantly, respect for women and girls. Our education committee has, for the past several years, worked with the Voluntary Organization for the Upliftment of Children, VOUCH, helping to provide and expand teaching aids and educational resources, including computers and refurbishing classrooms. The WLI also funds a special needs teacher and is currently supporting the preparation of VOUCH for attainment of certification as an early childhood institution. We have mentored young women, assisted with scholarships and bursaries to the University of the West Indies and other educational institutions, and provided financial support for other women's organizations. Today, we have 8 wonderful women who have joined with the WLI to share their journeys with us all. This is a continuation of our series on mentorship. I know that their stories will be an inspiration to all of us. I will begin by introducing our first panel, comprising of 3 phenomenal professionals: Susan Taylor, Editor Emeritus, Essence Magazine, founder and CEO of the National Carers Mentoring Movement; Justice Carol Sharp of the Supreme Court of New York; and WLI
Wow. And I think this is the most important thing for us as women, because we come out of the womb believing that we're here to serve. And we are. We're all here to serve, not just women. We're all here to serve one another, but our challenge is to serve ourselves first. My mother would say it. I'm a daughter of Trinidadian and Caucasian parents. My grandparents were from Barbados, and my mother and father, my mother's from Trinidad, my father's from St. Kitts, and they met and married in Harlem, built a business in Harlem. I was born, my brother and I were born in Harlem. And I feel so fortunate to have had the parameters that those Caribbean parents, immigrants, made sure surrounded us as children. I couldn't do everything that my friends were able to do. I couldn't go everywhere they were able to go. And I'm very, 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 very happy because of that, because my parents were older when they became parents. My father was almost 50 when I was born, and my mother was in her late 30s. That's right. So here we are at a moment when we know, as I was saying, that healing is important. And how do we heal the wounds in our society? This virus has shattered us. It's pushed us deeper into ourselves. I believe that it's the Holy Spirit, our Creator's will, for us to just stop, to push pause, and to begin to think more critically about what's important. We put and give so much weight to the material. Have to have this, that, and the other thing. A new this, it's flossing, as the young folks say. You know, it's showing our shine, all the things that say we have arrived. But we see all the people in this nation, I don't know about in Jamaica, who are wealthy and famous, they're celebrities, and they're committing suicide. Material things don't make you happy. It's all dust, here today and gone tomorrow, just like us. We're not here forever, but we are here to do the work of life and love. We are born to love. We're born to give, but that love is the love that we have to give to ourselves first. It's the charity, as my mother would say, it's a charity that begins at home. And so, you know, I want to say that there is no challenge, none at all, in our nations that can't be solved, none at all. Jamaica is rife right now with crime, with division. There's a lot going on, but there's nothing that can't be solved. If we think about our lives, we think about what our ancestors withstood, what they lived through, the hardest work is behind us. What we have to remember is our history, what we moved through. We have to look to the heroes and sheroes. We have to look to Nanny, who just believed in herself, believed in the people. We have to look to Bustamante. We have to look to Marcus Garvey, the people who understood that they were more than they seemed, that they were human and divine. When you think about Marcus Garvey, he's a hero of mine who, you know, leaves the Caribbean, comes to the United States. And it was at a time, my parents were coming at a time. My grandmother came from Trinidad in 1916. My mother came several years later as a 16-year-old. And people made fun of Caribbean people here in the United States at that time. They called Caribbean people monkey chasers. But Caribbean people came here with a gravitas. My mother came with a dignity, and my father came with a dignity that had been beaten out of, trained out of, lynched out of, punished out of many African Americans. Caribbean people have come to the United States, many of them, if not most, understanding that there were people in their countries who looked like them who were in power. Yeah, there's a colorocracy, there's no question, it's all over the world, you know, and it's people who are the darkest who suffer all over the world. We women of power and impact, this is our role, to speak up, to step into our communities, to bring the young ones close to us, to bring those healers and teachers, and to make sure that we're producing programs that people can listen to on television so that they come to know who they are, so that the history is being taught, not just in schools, and I hope it is, but also on television. Because we're not here to war against one another. We're here to understand how we, as people of African ancestry, can become self-supporting. So if the United Fruit Company decides they're not buying bananas from Jamaica anymore, or not enough, then Jamaicans need to know how to make banana pudding, banana cake, banana pie, and buy our own bananas. We have to learn how to encourage our children to put those seeds in the ground, to keep the land, to grow, the things that we need in the land, the resources we need, and to become self-supporting. Oh, this is important, and it's doable. It's doable if we ground it in the history, if we know who we are and why we're here. We're change agents. We're here to bring peace. We're here to bring honor to our ancestors who suffered so gravely for us to have the freedoms that we have. We're not here to fight. We're not here to separate political parties and for one person to be one party. Well, you see it's happening there. It happens in Jamaica, and God knows you see what is done in the United States. Nobody wants to be made wrong. When you make somebody else wrong, you're in for a fight. Whether it's your child, whether it's the other political leader, whether it's your spouse, somebody who you work with, it's all in the mix. You just, making people wrong doesn't make you right. Making people wrong is the beginning of a fight. So what do? We have to learn how to just nod and not always be in disagreement. We have to learn how to listen, how to hear other people's perspectives. To me, the most important word in our language is understanding. Understanding. If I understand your perspective, if I understand what you've been through, then I'm not going to make you wrong. It doesn't mean that I agree, but I understand why you feel that way. You know how I came to this? Actually, for years, as you probably know, I was the editor-in-chief of Essence and spent 37 years at Essence, and I led the publication for 27 of those 37 years before I was fashion and beauty editor rather. And, I always felt, I knew my parents loved me, but I didn't feel as though they liked me. And so I started doing some investigating, and I, went to St. Kitts. I finally met some of the family and started investigating my father's life and my mother's life. And I saw what they went through. I saw my mother's anger at her own mother for coming to the United States from Trinidad in 1916 and not bringing, I can tell the business now because they're all gone. I'm 75, so they're gone. Not bringing her children, but bringing her boyfriend. And her boyfriend was a family friend. And he was married, and it just caused my mother just great shame. And my mother took that anger at her own mother to her grave at 83. And when I started investigating my mother's life and my father's life, my father came here from a family of jewelers, imagine, jewelers in St. Kitts. And my father was born in 1898. And came to Canada and then the United States as a 21-year-old. So what folks in the Caribbean had, African Americans did not have. These towns that were African American led and had all sorts of kinds of businesses, Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We can name 5 other towns that are well known that were burned to the ground. That I don't think was happening in Jamaica. That doesn't mean that, there wasn't vile treatment of people and the punishing of those who might have been succeeding. But Jamaicans and Caribbeans have a gravitas. They came here with that African Americans rarely had. So what I'm saying is that stand up. Like Marcus Garvey would say, get up, you mighty race of people. Fight for your country, but fight with love. Grab those children. We've got to put down the weapons. We're not here to fight one another. We're here to build our nation, build our country. That should be spoken to the young people every single day. When they have jobs, when they have land, when they are producing products, everything you wear should be made in Jamaica. Everything you buy should be made in Jamaica or maybe some neighboring Caribbean country. You know, not always imported. You go to a hotel in Jamaica and the fruit is coming from somewhere else. So what's going to lead to this awakening? An awakening that is so needed in the now time, right now. And so I believe that we have to give ourselves to ourselves before we give ourselves away. We need quiet time, quiet, introspective time when we really come to know who we are. That's what life is really about. This is not a playground. Life is a schoolroom. We're here to learn. We're here to learn who we are. What satisfies our soul? Having another house, a flashy car, more clothes, more stuff doesn't satisfy the soul. Understanding your purpose, why you were created, that you're a lifelong learner, that's what satisfies the soul. And we have to get on with it. There's no retiring, there's no stepping back from life. As we grow older, and we're all growing older, we have to ask ourselves, do I want to be old and infirm? You want to be like my friend, Trish Ramsey. You know, Trisha and I are in the same age group, and she's in Pilates every week. She goes to her yoga class. She's taking care of herself. She has the body and the spirit of a young person, you know, and I have that spirit and I have that body too. I go to my yoga classes, can't do it now. Here's what I love about life. It's never too late. It's never too late to begin again. It's never too late to recover yourself. So I know we have women of all ages, the breadth of ages who are listening today. What do you need to know about how you move your life forward? How you can succeed in your professions? Whatever those professions are, make sure that you love them. You can't succeed at doing something that you don't love. And if you do, and you don't have moral integrity, moral guidance, moral intelligence, then you're vulnerable to all sorts of things that are painful, shameful, and illegal. You want to do what's right. And when you're living for love, when you're living for advancing life, moving the most vulnerable forward, everything you need comes into your hands. Let me testify. I'm a witness. When I look at my life, it's extraordinary today. And I didn't come from what people would have expected me to come from, to have had the kind of trajectory that I've had. But I'm living for something more than me. I have more than enough. And most of the women, most of you do too, you have more than enough. But we can't live like this with heart-wrenching poverty all around us. We have to stand up for that. We have to talk to the haves, you know, in Jamaica. And we have to be that bridge between the haves and the have-nots. This is women's work. We're the healers and the teachers. We're the wisdom carriers, the culture carriers. And it's time for us to really understand that, to get along with one another, because so much of what we do, you know, is backbiting, speaking about one another unkindly behind our backs. And we have to learn how to tap on the shoulder and say, I don't think this is the best way to move forward, but I'm not trying to shame you, blame you, or make you feel wrong. We have to learn how to, you know what? It's firing the judge, firing that inner voice that judges us, that makes us believe that we're not enough, that we're too light, too dark, too fat, too skinny, don't have this, don't have that, didn't come from the right family and the right side of town, didn't go to the right high school, and all the things that are separating. What unifies us is that we're all the offspring of the Creator of this magnificent world. It's so amazing that each of us, each of us, how many of us are on the planet? Almost 8 billion. It's 7 point something, 7.8 million of us, billion rather. And each of us is a divine original. That there are no two of us alike. That there are more suns in this universe, stars or suns. There are more suns or stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all the beaches of the world combined. Not just all the beaches in Jamaica, which would be amazing in itself, but all the beaches in the world combined. This is the vastness of this universe. It's beyond our understanding. It's beyond explanation. It requires faith and trust in knowing that the entity that created this magnificent planet and all the others that are out there created us on purpose, with a purpose. And as I was saying, that when I investigated my parents' lives, I learned something that I really hold on to today. I wrote this in essence probably 30 some odd years ago, and I hear it a lot now. I think I'm the first one who wrote it, but maybe not. And it's this, and it's helped me to understand people. Remember, understanding is the most important word in the universe and it's in the world, and it's the most important thing we must have. Understanding of your power, understanding of your uniqueness, of your unique beauty, of your capacity, your intelligence, and the power of your mind. There is nothing that is known that is good for life that you can't know. Nothing that is known that you can't know. If it's knowable, you can know it if you're willing to take the time to learn it. And what I learned is this: hurt people hurt people. That's what I learned about my parents. That's why that marriage was rocky. That's why I didn't feel not liked. I felt loved, but I didn't feel liked because they were hurting. And the folks who are out there creating all sorts of carnage in your country and in this country, hurting. And we have to help. Come on, women. We have to stand up. We have to get up. We have to put on our spiritual armor, that armor of bravery that Nanny exhibited, and say, we're coming to get our babies. We're coming to get our children. We're going to work to make our country what it should be. We have to move our nation forward toward peace, toward unity, and self-sufficiency. And so I say to you, I thank you, Miss Marcia, for inviting me to speak to the women today, and know that I cannot wait to get my body on a plane and to Jamaica soon. I soon come. I plan to be there as soon as I can get there, and to just not to work, but to restore. Restorative time is the most important time. And so I say, give yourself to yourself before you give yourself away, in the quiet, in meditation, in a book, in remembering who you are, in remembering your role, remembering that there's nothing weak or deficient about you, that you have everything you need to live the rest of your life in peace and in joy. And that doesn't mean that that's going to be the everyday experience, because things fall apart, lives fall apart, we lose our parents, sometimes we lose our health, we lose our mates, and what? That's life. And we don't know, we know how to get, but we don't know how to let go. Life is really, aging is letting go. It's letting go of the things that we may have taken for granted. So enjoy the rest of the conference, the rest of the day. God bless you, and thank you.
My friend Molly just got her partner draw of $100,000. As women, we like nice things, shoes, handbags, you name it. But we also love to save. I have encouraged Molly to open an interest-first deposit account at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union. Where else can you get your interest at the beginning of your deposit with attractive interest payment? Only at FHC. Use your upfront interest payment to take a vacation, use as your emergency funds, stock your business, or for education purposes. You decide. Call us at First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union, 876-929-5142. Join the FHC family, as FHC is my place, your place, our place.
And now let us welcome Justice Carol Sharp of the Supreme Court of New York.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol Sharp, and I want to first of all just thank you for inviting me to be with you today at the Women's Leadership Initiative International Women's Day. And here we're doing it virtually. So I thank you very much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, again, my name is Carol Sharp, and what I do for a living is that I'm a judge. And in November of last year, 2020, I was elected to the Supreme Court here in the state of New York. Prior to that, I was sitting as a civil court judge in the state of New York. But I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, today you want to hear something from me, and you want to hear more than just, with a bit of luck, you will make it, because it's more than that. And I'm sure you don't just want to hear from me that if you work hard and you go to school, and with some luck, you'll make it, because it is more than that. So today, if you will allow me, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about how I came over. And I don't mean just to America. I mean how I overcame, and just some of the things that motivated me. And I want to sum it up, ladies and gentlemen, in this Jamaican proverb: if you want good, you know Zaffa run. And that motivates me sometimes. That means don't give up. Try. When the going gets tough, you keep going. And I think many people who are successful will tell you that it hasn't always been easy, it hasn't always been smooth, and we've been scared. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that one of the things that motivates me is this thing called a little fear. And I know what that is, because when my mother, a mother of 7 children, left her husband and her 7 children to go to America to work in somebody's home, it was because she was fearful that she could not provide for her 7 children. And I know when my mother and father living in New York used to work 2 and 3 jobs, it is because they were fearful that they could not put food on the table for their 7 children, and that they couldn't they would not have enough money to educate us. So that is the fear I'm talking about. And that's a fear that keeps us going, because, we need money to buy things. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be hungry. I don't have to have the finest things in life, but there's some basic things I want, and I don't want to lose that. So that motivates me. Now, I want to talk to you about another kind of fear. This is something that I've read, and I just want to share it with you. This article that I read a couple of days ago, and it's by Brian Clark, who is a blogger, and he wrote it on June 17, 2020. And he talked about FEAR, false evidence appearing real. But that's different from what I'm talking about. False evidence appearing real is the fairy tale that we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves that bring us down. We fabricate an illusion in our minds and pretend that it's real. And it really stops us from accomplishing what we can. and all that we can. And I'll give you an example. I don't know if you have made a mistake. I know I'm not very unique, right? So I think this has probably happened to a lot of us. I don't know if you have made a mistake and you say, oh, aren't you so silly? How could you do that? Yeah, right. Look at you. There you go again. And you beat yourself up because you create this illusion. And some of it, some of it we have gotten honestly because some of us have never had encouraging people in our lives. Some of us have had people who have put us down. But no, you can write the different story because there's one thing that you can do. If you want good news of a run, you try. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, is that trying and never giving up. Now, I'm not talking about making the same silly mistakes over and over again. No, I'm talking about the wisdom that we learn, the success we have from trying. And sometimes it's the littlest things. If you get up and you leave your home 5 minutes earlier, there's less traffic. Sometimes, if you study a little harder, you may get from a C to a C+, you may get from an A to an A+. And sometimes, if you are just kinder and gentler, you get such a good response and a better response from people. So I'm talking about little things we can touch and feel. Whatever it is that we need to work on, whatever our challenge is right now. If you're in school, yes, get up a little earlier and you get out there and get to school on time. And if you have a job, yes, get up a little earlier and go on time, right? We keep trying. So how did I get here? Well, I told you about my parents. I'm number 6 of 7 children. I myself, truth, all I know, I wanted to help people. I had this dream of being a social worker. So did I have a vision that I would be a lawyer one day and become a judge? No. But one of the things, though, that while I did not have the vision, while I, lacked the drive and this great big desire, I had older brothers and sisters who went to high school. And when I came here to America, they were in college. And even if I wasn't dreaming for myself, I had to do what they were doing. So what does that bring us to? It brings us to who we hang out with, right? Who are our role models? So we're trying, but we also have to associate ourselves with individuals who can help us along that path and develop the wisdom and the honesty to know when someone is not good or positive. And I'm not saying that you have to cut that person out of your life, but I'm saying that you have to think, what is the reinforcement you need to go on? What is the fuel in your life that you need, the emotional fuel that you need to go on? And good role models, good friends are so important. And sometimes they can make up for what you don't get at home from blood relatives, because family is a very fluid thing. Sometimes our friends are really our family, and not because you're blood, it means that's the best person for you. So we have to be honest, right? Be really honest with yourself as to what you're doing. And sometimes you need to slide out of a certain place and get to another place that can take you where you want to go. Even if you don't have the great big dream, that's exactly where you want to go, but you know when it's not good for you, right? So we're gonna try, be honest, and don't give up. What is it that you would tell your child? What is it that you would tell someone who's looking to you? So what do I do? Sometimes, I have to treat myself like a patient. I remember when I first got diagnosed with cancer, I had a tumor on my thigh, my left femur. And at that time, I was a trial attorney. I did a lot of medicine, and I had to treat myself like a case. I had to say, okay, if this was a case you opened up and you're treating, what would you do? Because I had to step back to get away from the emotional part of it. So I'm saying that there are tools that I'm suggesting just a tool. You step back and you say, and you stand as an outsider and look and say, what is it you're doing? Okay, is it getting you to the point where you want to go? All right. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a little luck. There's a little luck in life, But I can tell you part of what brings luck into the formula, I think it's how you treat people. I think if you're kind, I think if you're patient, if you're forgiving of others and forgiving of yourself, I think that what you think is luck, it could be just people responding to who they see you are. And yes, I do have my faith and I do pray and I give thanks and praises when it works out. But just remember, it takes you to be involved in this thing called luck. I once was at this conference and I heard this lady, she was a presenter. I don't want to say it's a motivational speaker, but she was helping us figure things out. And she said something, and I was so stunned because I said, you mean I am not the only person who dare to daydream and think that somebody, I'll tell you, if you want to get a certain job, if you want a promotion, chances are that person who is going to give you that promotion or that job, they're not going to just be walking on the beach one day and just see you on the beach and say, you come. Well, that's normally not the way it works. You got to put yourself in that place to be seen and recognized. So again, yes, you go to school, you try, you treat others with kindness and patience, do unto others as you would that they to you would do. And yes, the luck comes in by what we put in. And again, I encourage you, when we make mistakes, forgive ourselves, forgive. And I tell you about luck coming from others, because that's kind of what happened to me, I never thought I would be a judge. I never had dreams, but there was this judge who had tried a number of cases before, and she called somebody, another lawyer, to say, come and see her try a case. And that person came to see me, and that person said, why don't you think of becoming a judge? Years and years went by, and I heeded, the person would always say to me, why don't you become a judge? And that person is presently, he went from being a lawyer to a politician and was instrumental in helping me to become a judge. But is it luck? Yes, it is. Is it work? Yes, it is. It is being decent and kind. If I wasn't a kind, decent human being with that judge, she'd never have called somebody in to say, come and see this attorney try this case. You have to see her. So it's a number of things, right? You work hard, it's rewarded. And let me not fool you. Have I been the recipient of hardship? Yes. Have I been not promoted because of what I perceive to be my ethnicity, my race, my accent? Have I seen others move on ahead of me? Yes. I'm not telling you that it is easy. It's not easy, but we don't give up, right? We don't give up, and we stay true to ourselves. We stay calm, we stay forgiving, and we work hard because we can. And we keep pushing through, and we don't let anything, if one tells us about our gender, our race, the color of our skin. No, you don't take that in. That's their problem. You keep doing what you're doing. Okay? And I want to talk about one great big success that we have accomplished during COVID. I'm communicating with you through this electronic means, right? This Zoom, this video conference. But I want us, while we think about how hard it's been, how hard COVID has been, I, for one, was hospitalized for a week due to COVID. It's been hard. Our lives have changed. The kids are home. So many women have left the workforce because they're home raising the kids. And we do know that there's a great responsibility when it comes to children that fall on women. So I want to say, great job to all the women, even if it's not your child and your children. You have supported somebody along the way, so congratulations. But I also want you to remember that you went from almost no technology. I mean, there was Facebook and WhatsApp, but living on this thing every day. Do you know what we have accomplished? Do you know how far we have come? And for women who we run away from STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We run away from these things, but look at us. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Even at our age, well, my age, I should say, you learn this thing and you're mastering this thing. You know, I speak to one of my sisters who's older than me and she's a teacher. And, you know, I had to remind her, look where you have come, look where we've all come. So while COVID has been devastating, let's focus on the great things that we have gotten during COVID. The time with family, although it's been burdensome, you know, it's been hard for some families. I know that. But hang in there and show somebody some love. And if you can, give another woman a break from the kids so she can even go for a walk, if you can. And I just want to say congratulations to the Women Leadership Initiative. I thank you for having me here. And I hope that very soon I'll be a spectator watching one of you listening and telling us how you overcame. Just remember, you want good, your nose up for run.
Need one card that does more? The Visa debit card is the one card that gives you access to your cash whenever and wherever you need it. And with instant information about your transactions via our app, it's the only card you need at home, online, or overseas. Visit CIBCFCIB.com or visit your nearest branch to sign up today. The Visa debit card from CIBC First Caribbean. It's more than a debit card.
It's time to welcome Eva Lewis, Country Officer and Corporate Bank Head, Citibank, Jamaica.
Good day to all my wonderful sisters in Jamaica, across the Caribbean, and perhaps the wider world. And before we know it, it's going to be International Women's Day, and I celebrate all of you. I'm so happy to be here as a guest presenter on the Women's Leadership Initiative Forum for International Women's Day, not only because it's near and dear to my heart and because I am actually a member of the Women's Leadership Initiative, but I also am very, very privileged and honored to be amongst such esteemed company, such as the inimitable Susan Taylor and the trailblazer, Justice Carol Sharp. And I'm sure everybody will agree with me that we're having a wonderful time this afternoon. My name is Eva Lewis, first and foremost, if you hadn't deduced that yet. And I guess I've been invited here this afternoon to share my own journey with you. And I think it's in the context of the fact that I have been appointed the first woman to lead the city organization in Jamaica after its 60th year in existence in the country. a role that I assumed approximately 4 years ago, a role that I'm thoroughly enjoying, and a role that I am honored and privileged to have the opportunity to play. And I thank the WLI for inviting me to share my journey with you today. If I just gave you some background on my beginnings, so to speak, I guess from even my accent, one can tell that not even having spent 40 years in Jamaica, I still don't have a very Jamaican accent. I hail from St. Lucia, born and raised, had a wonderful, wonderful life in St. Lucia, went off to Canada to university, headed for the medical sciences. I hold a bachelor's in immunology and virology, if you would believe it. And in Canada, as the proverbial saying goes, I met a boy. And then after my degree, I returned to, not to St. Lucia, but to Jamaica because I met a boy. I married that boy. 2 years later, went off again with that boy, who is now a man, Alan, my dear husband of 35 years. And we did our MBAs together as married students. And I still pursued a focus on health administration in the context of my MBA, returned to Jamaica and was headed certainly for looking at an opportunity in the space of health, but that was not to be. That boy, my husband, Alan, picked up my resume, sent it to a friend, and lo and behold, I got an opportunity to have an interview at City in Jamaica. And the rest, as they say, is history. I've been with City ever since, and I celebrate 34 years with the organization this coming August. And what a journey it has been. So in the 34 years, that boy, my husband, Alan, and myself have managed to have 3 beautiful daughters who are now adults, Gillian, Jessica, Justine, in that order. And in that journey has been a balance that I've had to strike somewhere in every day of those 34 years to manage the challenges that come with career development and managing a young and growing family and obviously a marriage. The theme of International Women's Day is very much, obviously, using that word that we so often use. Challenge, choose to challenge, choose to challenge. And I'm going to flip the script this afternoon and talk about choosing the challenge, right? We talk a lot about challenges as if they are milestones, but sometimes challenges can be good things. They can be opportunities for growth. So in looking at my journey, what is my message here to you this afternoon? And I want to share with you a few things that have punctuated my journey and obviously led to my success, if you can call it that. And I want to share that journey with you today. What are the things that have impacted me most profoundly? And what can I leave with you to inspire, particularly the young women listening this evening, about really and truly getting to that level of success and in fact enjoying it, being fulfilled by it. First and foremost, I will tell you at least there are 5 things that I think I hold dear to my heart with respect to ensuring that I always do. I believe in the power of relationships. I think relationships are the thing that navigates or helps us navigate our lives as best as possible. You have to understand that relationships are singular things, they're individual things. There is no blueprint for a relationship because it's between 2 people. Whether you're in an organization, a family, or any other type of engagement, relationships are at the core of your success. In building those relationships, they're not stepping stones to success. They are, in fact, the roots of your success, and you must nurture them. You must nurture them with your peers. You must nurture them with the people who report to you and the people that you report to in all of those spheres of your life. No matter which part of your career journey you are on, relationships form the bedrock of ultimate success. That is my fervent and profound view. I believe that's one of the pillars, and certainly one of the things that I believe I do very well. I nurture relationships, and I really love to develop relationships. And in doing so, making sure, second, that you never burn bridges. You must be able to call on those relationships in a good, authentic way as you develop your career. Very, very important. It is widening your sphere as opposed to using sphere at the time of your career. You must expand your relationships and nurture and keep them always. Certainly, thirdly, you must be coached well. And I fervently, again, believe that has been a big, big part of my success. Maybe if I had to call out two people who were absolutely important to my personal and by extension, my professional development, it would be two persons. Beyond, of course, my wonderful family. My mother was deeply, deeply important to my sense of self-worth, my confidence. And I really and truly believe that I powered my own journey on her bravery. She was bold, she was curious, she was adventurous. Eleanor Roosevelt, one of my favorite ladies when I look to see what can inspire me, said once, you are, what did she say? You can only become inferior if you consent to it, or you allow people to consent, or if you consent, people will make you feel inferior. And I really and truly think that is at the core of everything. Your self-worth is very important. And I got that from my mother. Professionally, Peter Moses, my predecessor, and who was certainly ran the bank for 30 years, had a profound impact on my professional career. And he was a man. And when we talk about coaches, it's not about whether on the gender of the coaches, it's about the impact that they have on you. Supportive, understood the value of family, understood the value of ensuring that I had balance in my life, but gave me opportunity and pushed me into deep ends of the pools in terms of some of the jobs that I held at City without even, and I didn't even have time to think. He brought me and showed me opportunities and said, I think you can do it. And I think one of the things that I want to thank him for is that even if I had reservations, they always say that women feel that they have to now be able to do 95% of the job before they even go after the job, as opposed to probably men who feel very differently about their capabilities. I was given opportunities and I jumped into the deep end of the pool, but I had the support. It wasn't a safety net. It was critical support. It was good feedback, but I had support and I was given those opportunities. And I think my own lack of planning, my whole life has been a sort of a journey that has been relatively fluid. I never tried to control my opportunities. I never had a 5 or 10-year plan. And I think that has worked for me. So maybe sometimes agility and giving yourself the opportunity to actually take up challenges and developmental opportunities without being prescriptive sometimes is actually a good thing. And it certainly worked for me. Whether I speak to the ladies or the gentlemen, you cannot have it all at the same time. And sacrifice has been very, 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 very key to my development and my journey. I had to sacrifice a lot. I had to make sure that I balanced my family with my career growth. Sacrifice meant being present at times that was inconvenient, but I sacrificed. And I was able to see the reward, obviously, of my stick-to-itiveness and my sacrifice along the way. I would also leave you with the fact that you have to be patient, you have to persevere. When you get to a level of leadership that I have, you also have to be comfortable in it. So it can't come quickly sometimes, it has to come with experience. So I persevered, I stuck to it. I took on those challenges. I found the mentors, and I understood the value of relationships. And therefore, 34 years later, I can say to you, I feel comfortable in the role as leading, in terms of leading an organization, because I was nurtured well. And I really and truly think I invested my time, not at the sacrifice, however, of my family. And therefore, you know, the pitfalls that one can get into. You have failures, absolutely, but it's important to understand. I look at them as vulnerabilities. Every single vulnerability or every single pitfall that has befallen me, I have looked at it in the context of what can I learn from it? How can I grow from it? And I think at the end of the day, if you don't appreciate that vulnerability is in fact a strength, then you're losing a lot of opportunity for the development and certainly for your success. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen these women that have come out in force in 2020. Kamala Harris, Amanda Gorman, Ngozi Iweala, I can't even pronounce her name, head of the WTO, so Jacinda Ardern, women leading in crisis, women choosing the challenge and leading in crisis, not to challenge, it chose the challenge. I also am happy to also say that, in fact, just a week ago, Citi appointed the first woman CEO of a major bank in Jane Fraser, somebody who I personally met, who inspires me even at this level and at this stage of my career. So very proud of that. So where do we go from here to choose to challenge? You have to be bold. You have to be vulnerable. Stand in your own light, and then you can let it shine on others. Stand in your own light. Persevere, be patient. It is inconvenient sometimes, but it is worth it. And finally, I'm going to say something that came to me just last night when it asked about what gives you joy. Success is enjoyed not in spite of. Success is enjoyed because of. I could not enjoy this success that I have had today if it was in spite of relationships that had been destroyed, family life that was not wholesome and good. The peace and the joy that I get today is because of the people who supported, propped me up, and because of the sacrifice that I made. And the success comes because of, never in spite of. Then you won't enjoy it as I am today. I leave you with the signal of IWD today. Put your hands up. Choose to challenge. Choose the challenge. And in the words of Kamala Harris, right, I may be the first woman to hold this office at Citi Jamaica, but I will not be the last. Thank you for listening, and thank you everyone for being here this afternoon as we celebrate International Women's Day. Blessings.
Wow. Yeah.
This easy.
This makes me feel safe.
Wow, and it's free.
You spoke, we listened. NCB is making banking easy, safe, free. Bank anytime with our mobile app, Easy. Open accounts, apply for loans and credit cards online, safe. Use our intelligent ABMs 24/7 to deposit money to NCB accounts and pay your credit card bills free. Visit jmcb.com/getdigital for info. Welcome to a better way of banking. Easy, safe, free with NCB.
Good afternoon, ladies, and I gather there are some gentlemen with us. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to you all. I am Roxanne Linton, Deputy Chair of the Education Committee of the Women's Leadership Initiative, and I have the distinct honor of introducing you to the next panel comprising 6 trailblazing entrepreneurs. Each will share with you their journey, after which we will take some questions. Please join me in welcoming you to Choose to Challenge. First up, we have Brittany Singh Williams, founder, Spark Education Limited, a customer of Sagicor Bank. Next, we have Nadine Spence, Managing Director, Sixth Rent-A-Car, customer of CIBC First Caribbean. Next, we have Ozette Wright, owner, Brayhorn Company Limited, customer of JMB Bank. We also have Kimala Bennett, Managing Director, The Lab, customer of NCB. We have Dr. Delia McDaniel Dixon, CEO, Charlie's Pharmacy Limited, Medicine Chest Limited, and Medicine Chest Health Center Limited, customer of First Global Bank. And finally, we have Melanie Levy, CEO, Candy Crease, Candy Bar and Creamery, a customer of Scotiabank, Jamaica. I do hope that you enjoy this panel discussion.
Yeah.
Let us welcome Brittany Singh Williams, founder, Spark Education Limited, customer of Sagicor Bank.
My name is Brittany Singh Williams, and I am the founder of Spark Education and the co-founder of the Pod School. At Spark Education, we offer unique personalized learning solutions to prepare young people for the future of the Caribbean. And so what that means is that we offer quite a few different programs, such as academic coaching, which many people often confuse with tutoring. Coaching is more the development of life skills and how you study, how you take notes, and how you prepare yourself as a learner, and working with the family to ensure that children are prepared for academic success. We also offer an online tutoring program, as well as creating learning experiences for private or corporate entities. We are a small group of educators, about 4 members on our team. And when the pandemic hit, clearly we had to stop face-to-face interaction. And many clients started to call to kind of ask, can we come to your home to teach children? And clearly, in order to maximize on this, we needed a plan. And that was the major thing, I think, for the pandemic, was really stopping for a moment and listening to what people really needed in the education space. So that birthed the idea of partnering with another educational entity to create the Pod School, where we have teachers on rotation going to different homes all across Kingston. And since then, that has expanded significantly. And we're now looking to expand to St. Anne as well as other Caribbean islands. So the idea is to have small pods of children having face-to-face learning with teachers on rotation. Separate from that, Spark Education also started Spark Online. And what we do with that is connect tutors directly to students on demand for personalized support in various subjects. And what that does is allow parents to go online and find help for their children immediately, while also helping teachers to generate an additional income. So that is where we got the Sagicor Payment Gateway involved. They have been super helpful, because now we can collect payments not only for the Pod School, but also for the teachers who are generating an income online. And again, everything that we do is to get children to get that personalized help that they need. So we also work on training more teachers to have fun and interactive online engagement. So we want teachers to gain an additional income. We want parents to be able to find help for their children. So we have this online option with Spark Online, as well as the Pod School for face-to-face interaction. And I just really want to recognize Sagicor for helping us to get this off the ground very quickly, because of course, without being able to collect funding from people all over, it would make it significantly difficult. So my advice for any woman working towards success right now is really to just take a break, listen to what people are asking of you, and and think about what it is that you can do in your business to maximize on that based off of, you know, whatever personal things you have going on and how you can, you know, stretch that. For me, that was something, it took about 3 months into the pandemic to really, you know, decide how I wanted to move forward. But it has also worked in my favor. And I also think that, you know, reaching out to other women or even men and, you know, the people that you have in your network is a great way to start, because those are the people that can keep you accountable and give you the support that you need. What I think is my company's greatest achievement and what brings me joy is actually seeing when I'm still able to impact children in a real way during this season, you know, tapping into their mental health, making sure that they are understanding what they're doing and keeping up despite the changes going on around them. And I think it's also great that the pandemic has given me an opportunity to really push the narrative of alternative education in a real way in Jamaica, because now that we're in this position, we have to think and do things differently. And that's what excites me the most, that education can really become transformed in this season. So I hope that this was helpful, and yeah, thank you for having me.
The future of commerce is online. And if you have a website, in 30 minutes you can change the future of your business. Introducing Sagicor Payment Gateway from Sagicor Bank that allows you to accept online credit card payments for goods and services. It's quick and easy. Apply online today for Sagicor Payment Gateway, integrating as little as 30 minutes.
Please join me in welcoming Nadine Spence, Managing Director, Sixth Rent-A-Car, customer of CIBC First Caribbean.
I'm Nadine Spence. I am the Managing Director for Sixth Rent-A-Car, a franchise that is out of Germany, and I operate it in partnership with my husband, Orban Spence, for the country of Jamaica. Some of the core competencies of this business is pretty much the customer services, service delivery that we, and the product itself that we have to offer. We are a company that pretty much sticks to its DNA. We have like 6 pillars within which we stand true to. And the staff, from the maintenance to the frontline customer service agents, they stand true to this DNA of ours. And I just want to speak about some of the experiences that would have taken me this far. One afternoon, I sat in my office. I was working part-time for another company, and I decided that I wanted to start my own company and had done the preliminaries, the company office documentation, etc. And then in walked a representative from First Caribbean Bank. And she asked if I had time to speak with her. I said, sure. What is it about? And she said, they're offering merchant services. And I'm like, whoa, I'm at that stage where I literally was getting ready, prepared to come to your bank to apply for this kind of service. And right there and then they set the stage for my collection of revenue for my company. So I just want to say thanks to them for that. They actually laid the foundation for officially and formally accepting me and my brand as a company into the banking world. Throughout the entire experience taking us to now, it has been good and bad. There are times when we would request things and, you know, not all the time the bank will say yes. But if you can show them that, listen, this is why you should say yes. For the most part, they usually give it the kind of consideration needed. And I find that my bank is pretty much a reserve bank, but they're steady. And so, you know, I've been working with them from then. 6 Rent-A-Car for me is part of my self-actualization. I've always wanted a brand that stood out. I've always wanted a franchise that would set the stage for newness. And what attracted me to them were certain attributes that they had garnered over the years. One, their they're technology driven, and it's a German brand, and they develop, their kind of machinery is just exceptional. They've taught me, you know, Jamaica has a really laid back attitude. I have to, when I say a time, I have to ensure that I stick to that time, meet my deadlines. And once all of that is done, I mean, the organization just run, it's like a fluid operation, and I'm very happy to have chosen that brand. Initially, though, it was very difficult. We, you know, I wouldn't say communication barrier because they speak English, but the different cultures, it was very hard. And once we understood each other, it was, you know, nonstop. Along the way, you know, when you're trying to grow, my business is one that it's capital intensive. You have to have the physical assets as the product, and it continues to change and it depreciates daily. So that is a challenge in of itself. But when you have the kind of financing behind you, the sky is the limit. And even when you hear a no, you must find a way to get it done. One of the challenge with this brand or with my product was the constant financing, and at some stage, you know, the bank can only finance so much. So what do you do? For me, I went into partnership with my now partners, Caribbean Investor Capital. They came on board and they offered me that kind of support that was needed, something that the banks would need to see, you know, to change my true cash position. And just telling women out there, don't be afraid to enter into partnerships. We grew up thinking that having a partner sometimes means the end of your control, you know, being that independent being, but no, it is not. It offers you that added support that can take you to the next level. We've had some difficult time during the lockdown last year. Actually, we were ready now to just take off. We saw our growth chart, you know, steadily increasing, and then in February, and the stage was set for March, and then wow, the lockdown. I can tell you this, we had just gotten approval for our slot at the airport, and it was quite a daunting period. But nonetheless, we decided that, you know, we must press in, we must press on. So we continue to do the build out at the airport, because we know that once it opens, we would have already set the stage, and so we could hit the ground running, and we continued. When many stopped, many decided against, you know, continuing with their plans that they had, we decided to press in, and we did. So in June, when the airport opened, we were ready, we were geared, we got the maximum amount of reservations, even far more than the year before. Of course, later down in the year, all of that would subside, but because there was an initial need to travel. So we had to do certain things. During that time, you know, we tried to work on our admin in terms of our social media presence. You know, how can we make our service delivery more effective and more accepting and rewarding to our customers? So it's not just about
customer service, not just satisfaction, but giving them an experience. So we worked on that, and it still continues to work on that throughout this pandemic. But I tell you, it made us question our ability to continue the process and our ability to, pivot through these times and how diversified we could make our product. So we're still going, and we're thankful to God for that. And we're hoping that this pandemic, we can get this pandemic behind us and just continue to press in. For me, as an individual, as a woman in business, I'm thankful. I couldn't say no to this Women Leadership Initiative when she called, Marcia called and said, Nadine, your name was given to us. We think that, you came highly recommended. I was like, oh my gosh, and I shy away from this, but I realized that my experience will allow others could inspire someone or motivate someone to move. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and I can tell you that during your downs, you will identify the strength beneath your wings. There are some people in your life who are just there for when things are good, and there are some people in your life who will be there for both good and bad. Identify those people from early. And support other women. I find that some women who I would reach out to and, offer advice or any kind of support, they never say no. And I want to be that woman too, that when somebody reach out, be it my experience, be it my knowledge, whatever it is, that I'm able to say yes, so that I can help somebody else to take to the next level. Nadine is somebody who loves service. I'm a Kiwanian, I'm a Justice of the Peace. I'm now currently the area chairman of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, the first area chairman who is not actually a hotelier. Like I say, the sky is the limit. We are 60s and allied member. However, we do play our part in the association. And so I accepted the position as the Montego Bay chapter chair. I'm also the director for the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce. I've been doing this for 3 years now. So I am someone who just serves in whatever capacity that I can. I love to help. And in helping, sometimes help comes indirectly in the least place that you expect it. So, and I love God. More than anything else, I love God. So my advice to everyone is to set your goals and do everything that you can to achieve or attain those goals.
Need one card that does more? The Visa debit card is the one card that gives you access to your cash whenever and wherever you need it. And with instant information about your transactions via our app, it's the only card you need at home, online, or overseas. Visit CIBCFCIB.com or visit your nearest branch to sign up today. The Visa debit card from CIBC First Caribbean. It's more than a debit card.
Let us welcome Ozette Wright, owner, Brayhorn Company Limited, customer of JMMB Bank.
My name is Ozette Wright, owner, butcher, and full-time operator of Brayhorn Company Limited. We are a small meat processing facility, and we fabricate cuts and freeze as desired for beef, mutton, and pork items. The business has been in operation for the last 12 years. It was inherited and was the brainchild of my late husband, Brian Wright, who passed in 2015. It has been challenging and daunting to try and take over this business or business of this magnitude, livestock and butchering. Especially it being known for being a predominantly male-run business, which in and of itself presented its own challenges. As a female, you're not given the respect, or you have to earn it, because it's not seen as the type of business that a female would have much knowledge of. And to be truthful, I didn't. I mean, I was working on the farm with him. Before he passed, I'd help with minimal things, accounting, you know. But my primary task at that time, before taking this on, was raising our children. I have two children. We have two children, two boys, Nathan and Jordan Ross, right? After his death, I was asked to relocate in short order, and having to take that on was one of the most challenging things, because I mean, to find farmland in Jamaica to move livestock onto, which would be suitable in terms of having enough water, having enough space to breed. That in and of itself was a great challenge. I mean, unfortunately, Jamaica is now going into just housing. So farmlands now are almost non-existent, and to find the right kind of setup or situation was looking next to slim. Luckily and fortunately, God is and has always been on my side, and this gentleman that had his own area in the same Bramble Hanover, he had passed as well, and I got in touch with his children, and we started the process to purchase the property. That was just one of the many challenges, to move the animals, to move the containers, to move the equipment. Yeah, followed suit to maintain the business while moving. The business was another challenge, you know. God is good. But, you know, throughout it, I just maintained focus. I would say, you know, have a why when you're doing these things. And my why was my two children, or is my two children, which kept me grounded throughout the whole process, throughout the 6 years of having to just manage everything and try and, you know, give the business the room it needed and the space it needed to grow. It was obvious that where it was, it wouldn't have had the chance to do so. And I am futuristic in the dream that my husband had for the business. You know, he wanted to continue to supply the hotels, and right now we do supply, but we lost a lot of the business to COVID, unfortunately, with the hotels. It's slowly taking itself back up, but most of our business goes to the supermarkets. We supply Mega Mart and Price Mart right now, and a couple wholesales in and around the area. You know, I employ 10 people out of the Ramble Hanover community, who has been with me throughout everything. These people know the background and where the business started, so that was helpful. They've encouraged me throughout every obstacle, you know, and every challenge presented itself, from trying to recreate the facility so that the health authorities would give us a pass on it to continue producing our products. I don't know, all the challenges with people in general, men who, instead of wanting to be professional, having other ideas to, interject themselves and, trying to maintain your professionalism as a woman in this industry, and to not see in a certain way. Yeah, all of that presented itself, and just to maintain a good headspace, for yourself to continue for your family is important. I had support from a couple of family members, my mother mostly, Reverend Gledford Clark of Lucy Hanover United, has been there for me to maintain, how can I say, stability on a spiritual level, so to speak, because I do believe that you're affected that way, even though it's business. A couple of female friends of mine, Mrs. Stevens and Mrs. Kerry Spencer, has also been there as constant encouragement, so to speak, throughout it all. Being a widow is in and of itself a challenge, alone, much less to take on the feet of a business of this magnitude. It is a big business, raising livestock and trying to produce quality cuts for the hotels that are so demanding. Yeah, sometimes, as I said, daunting. I would say, as a female, to encourage other females, I mean, I see myself as a loner as it is right now in this business, but just maintain focus, have a why, have a reason, which you will need when you have those seasons of giving up, because I've had many of them. One just the other day, to be truthful, 2 weeks ago, having financial issues, having to move the business and maintain it through a very expensive feat. JMMB SME Resource Center has been helping me. Tani Scoot and by and large, SME Relationship Manager Abigail Clark has been helping to give me the support in terms of sometimes emotional, and assisting with overdraft with the account so that I can pay farmers, because we do outsource a lot of our products or animals. I don't have enough to carry to support the market that I am presently supplying to. So, I found that they, as in within the COVID period, have been a little shoulder to cry on ever so often when I find myself at low points, and just the other day, I did find myself there, and oddly enough, I got a call from RADA, who informed me that I was selected to or nominated for Best Female Farmer of the Region for this year. This is my second nomination, as a matter of fact, because I was nominated last year by Jamaica Agriculture Association for the same thing, except COVID presented itself, and I don't know, I can continue with this, but more or less, you know, hard work and determination. Hard work and determination and having faith in what you're doing and putting faith in God. You know, there is a God. And throughout these last 6 years, I've often questioned, I've blasphemed so many times. And I've been put back on the right path so many times, you know. I'm human. There is, I can tell you that there is a God. There is a God. Put your faith in him, put your trust in him, and he'll lead the way. As long as you're doing it in the right ways and you're not misleading anybody or yourself, you'll be able to make it.
Wow. Yeah.
Please join me in welcoming Kimala Bennett, Managing Director, The Lab, customer of NCB.
Hi, my name is Kimala Bennett, and I am Managing Director and co-founder of The Lab, the Limnas and Bards Limited. We're an advertising agency and production company right here in Kingston, Jamaica. I've always had a passion for documentary filmmaking, music video directing, and that led me to do an internship in Los Angeles at HSI Productions. And at that time, I just remember stepping into this building and thinking to myself, wow, I want an HSI, right? So I come back to Jamaica and I decide that I now want to start a production company. And I had the opportunity of working with a number of companies here and really started building the company, myself and Melissa Llewellyn. And as two young women, you know, ready to work hard with a dream, we eventually moved into TV production in TV commercials. And it was there that we had the opportunity to really tell stories and do things differently. And at that time, I always had this vision of creating an empire. And listing on the junior market was really just another step for us, you know, in taking this company public and building and growing and scaling as much as we wanted to. So I always encourage people to really dream big, be willing to have a plan, stick to that plan. I mean, the vision remains the same, but you know, the process will change occasionally, and how to get to that actual vision will change, but always stick to that plan that you have. There are a lot of challenges that come with starting a business. There are even more challenges that come with growing a business. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges that I found as a leader is really getting the right people in the right seats. You know, when it's just you and you're hustling, or, you know, you have a business partner and everybody has, you know, skin in the game, it's very easy to go. But in order to really grow and scale and build that empire that I spoke about, you have to get a team that is invested and that buys into the vision, and a culture that actually encourages that. And that doesn't happen overnight, you know, and it's not easy. It's a lot of tough decisions that have to be made. It's a lot of deliberate moves that have to be made to really work on what, you know, do you want this culture to be? And for me, I've always wanted a culture of high performance, but I've always wanted my team to be happy and always striving for excellence. And that really shaped our core values, or has shaped our core values at the lab. But in terms of getting persons to buy into that vision and, you know, moving people around and getting persons trained up, I would say that that's probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had, but it has also been the greatest reward, because it takes practice and it takes time. And most of all, it takes help, it takes mentorship. And I've had some key mentors in my life, Andrea Coy, for one, who is CEO of Grace Foods International. And she really said to me, in the earlier parts of my career, where we were toying with the idea of whether or not we should be a production company or whether it should be an agency. And she said, be bold, just go forth and be bold. You've run the numbers, you ask the right questions, you have the mindset, you have the skill. Yeah, so just go for it and be bold. And that's exactly what we did. And she's guided me in a number of major decisions that I've had to make, in terms of whether it be people decisions or business decisions, or just really seeking that counsel when you just really genuinely are overwhelmed or frustrated. So I highly recommend really surrounding yourself with not only women but just mentors. And for me, I think women in business understand a lot more of the challenges that we have, women, mothers, and there are a lot of, in terms of you can relate a little bit more to just, okay, how do you overcome some of these challenges that are sometimes just unique to women juggling life? I think when we decided to really, as a part of our growth strategy, was really systemizing our business in, 2010. And I enrolled in Action Coach, and Marcia Winshaw played a major role in terms of us really looking at the business and how do we get these systems in place to ensure that the business is growing in the right way to be able to facilitate the growth that we wanted. And I also encourage that, because there are a lot of times when persons say, well, no, I know that, and I don't need to talk to anybody, or I don't need a coach. Why do I need a coach? I highly recommend it, because when you're a business owner, you really have no one to answer to. And a coach pushes you, a coach will challenge you. And that's that person that will say, no, you can do this, or, call you out on certain things. And that's always a good just environment that will then, not only push you, but make you uncomfortable, because it's always, I always say to people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because it means growth is happening. And, you have to grow in order for the company to grow. But, I couldn't speak about, just the person that I am and the leader that I've become, or just even my ambitions of being an entrepreneur, without speaking about my mom, who, is an entrepreneur herself, as well as my Auntie Janet, who, I've been around, just in terms of growing up and seeing her run her business as well. So I've been surrounded by some very influential and hardworking women who have had a serious impact on my life. And I try to do that through mentoring young women and guiding them in whatever way I can, through the books that I've written, talks that I will have, just because I think it's always very important to speak about your journey and guide the next generation coming up. I think COVID-19, however, has really tested me, as a leader, as a person. And one of the biggest challenges we had was, now running a virtual company, or a team just virtually, because the nature of our business is, very collaborative, a lot of ideation sessions, bouncing ideas off each other. Being in a space, in a creative space, does foster creativity. And we now had to find a way to move that online, and that we did. And I'm just so super proud of the team, and super proud of myself to some extent for really just accepting that this is what this is. And we've really made the best of it. And it has pushed us and forced us to really look at, our vision of being a borderless business and what that looks like. Because if we can operate now in this space, it then now allows us to see how we're going to operate with our teams all over the world, which is exactly where we're going. So while there were a lot of setbacks with COVID, there were also a lot of opportunities, and that's what we chose to focus on, to ensure that where the opportunities were, we were going to capitalize on them, And what appeared not so much to be opportunities, we're going to turn them into opportunities. And that's what that has done. And that's where that word pivots, you know, that's, I think that was the word of 2020, because we were forced to do just that. And I think NCB, you know, has played a major role for us, because not only are they one of our clients and our partners, but I had the opportunity of interviewing their group CEO, Patrick Hilton, for a feature that I'm working on, Becoming CEO, because a part of my journey of becoming CEO is really learning from other CEOs that I admire. And NCB is a company that I admire. And in his interview, he spoke about just one of the setbacks NCB had, you know, with the debt exchange, with them losing like billions of dollars over, you know, overnight. And he went to his board, and his board said, you know, so when are we revising the budget? And he's like, why? We have 6 months. And they're all looking at him like, really? And he says the same thing to his team, because they ask him, okay, when are we revising the budget? And he said, no, we have 6 months. And I asked him, I said, well, did you actually believe that? Or was that something that, you know, you just said, you know, because, you know, in the moment? He said, no, he believed it. He just thought that the strategy to achieve this goal was going to have to be a little different. So they met every single day, and they really dug down to get it done, and they surpassed the target. And I remember when, you know, COVID hit, and everybody was like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And, you know, you're in the marketing business. And I said, yeah, we're in the marketing business. And yes, we have risks like all, you know, other businesses, but this is now an opportunity for our clients to reach a captured audience. And we're now going to have to guide our clients as to the type of messaging that they're going to have to, you know, say in terms of just ensuring that, you know, educating the public and recognizing the nature of the businesses of our clients. How are we going to now turn this into an opportunity while recognizing, you know, some of the challenges and the risks that we had? And I just remember that played back in my head, that interview, as well as just the concept of what it represented. So that has really, you know, that is one aspect of the support that we've gotten, but also them trusting us, working with us along the way has really, you know, helped. And the idea, or just them moving more into digital, is so easy to pay your bills online. So, you know, or the mobile app is amazing. Our team talks about it all the time, in the sense that, and what that does is it gives you more time. And time, I think, is one of the, you know, just a major thing for anyone that works in an agency or production, because, you know, you never have enough of time to, you know, create that proposal, do that bid, shoot that commercial, hit that deadline. So any time that we can get back is absolutely amazing. So I want to, you know, take this opportunity to just encourage, you know, everyone to still go after their dreams. I think if we dream big and we work hard, the sky's the limit.
Wow. Yeah.
This easy. This let me feel safe.
Wow, and it's free.
You spoke, we listened. NCB is making banking easy, safe, free. Bank anytime with our mobile app, Easy. Open accounts, apply for loans and credit cards online, safe. Use our intelligent ABMs 24/7 to deposit money to NCB accounts and pay your credit card bills free. Visit jncb.com/getdigital for info. Welcome to a better way of banking. Easy, safe, free with NCB.
Let us welcome Dr. Delio McDaniel Dixon, CEO, Charlie's Pharmacy Limited, Medicine Chest Limited, and Medicine Chest Health Center Limited. She's a customer of First Global Bank.
Hi, I'm Delia McDaniel, Dr. Delia McDaniel Dixon. I am the CEO for Charlie's Pharmacy Limited, Medicine Chest Limited, both of which are pharmacies, and a health center called Medicine Chest Health Center Limited, and all three are located in downtown Kingston. I am a pharmacist by profession, and I am a certified mediator. I'm also a board member of Medical Disposables and Supplies Limited. I'm also a wife and a mother, and I'm a daughter, of course. Charlie's Pharmacy and Medicine Chest Limited, the companies that I operate, we provide preventive and curative products and services for our clients in downtown Kingston. We serve all of Jamaica. We have clients from all around Jamaica. We try to make these products and services affordable, and we have been doing business for approximately 30 years, since 1991. For the most part, I enjoy working with all of our customers. I find that the people of downtown Kingston are decent, law-abiding citizens, friendly, and they have been fairly easy to work with right throughout these years. We at our stores love our customers. I think that in terms of the challenges that I faced as a business person, as a woman in downtown Kingston, I would include in that, top of that is just being respected as a woman in business. That was really challenging. And it was good for me that it is a family-owned business that we operate, and I had my father there and my mother. My father was able to take me to the bank, to introduce me to all the persons there who I needed to know, and to pave the way for me initially. But getting on my own footing as a woman was very difficult, because I think back then, 30 years ago, women weren't taken very seriously as CEOs or managing directors or the boss of a business. They weren't taken seriously at all. So that has been very challenging. However, I've just overcome that by just being confident and speaking up and speaking firmly at times, and just allowing myself to be heard and not, being shy about anything. Another challenge that I faced was when the bank that I was associated with back then in 1996 was closed down by the government of Jamaica. And of course, I was at the time at the university studying, and I got a call that, the bank has closed down. This is the bank that I used to pay all my bills, the money from the accounts to pay my staff as well. So this is where planning was very important, because we had made plans from before and we had invested in other banks, and we were therefore able to continue business relatively smoothly, paying our staff as was necessary when the time came, until we were able, of course, to retrieve our money from the bank some years later. I think another challenge for me in business was during the world recession in 2007 to 2008, somewhere there. That was very challenging for many people in business. And we just had to make smart decisions regarding inventory management and control. And also, I think at the time, smart financial decisions about how best to spend and what sorts of inventory to invest in for our clients to keep the business going. COVID-19 itself, which is very current, is our most recent challenge. And when COVID first hit Jamaica, pharmacy was impacted in a very major way. It required, for us to respond to the COVID crisis, we as pharmacists all across Jamaica had to do a lot of planning. We had to basically respond to the needs of our clients, which increased tremendously in terms of, vitamins, vitamin C, sanitizers, alcohol, masks, and procurement was a challenge. We had to do things like that are very creative, like get manufacturers to make masks for us, fabric masks, when we couldn't get the regular masks that we required for our clients. So another thing was the technology. We had to use technology because we used to do we normally have WhatsApp service, but we have had to invest in that in a much bigger way in terms of promoting it and doing it, because that is what many of our clients are now requiring of us. We've had to change the inventory somewhat, investing more in the COVID supplies. This has really worked out very well for us. In terms of my bank, First Global is one of the banks that I bank with, and it is my favorite bank. I love it because of the very convenient opening hours and the branch locations where the banks are in relation to where I live and work and travel. They're conveniently dotted around so that I can step into any bank and do business at various times of the work day. The online banking that First Global offers is very user-friendly. I find the staff to be very warm and friendly and personable. They have a very welcoming environment there within the bank itself when I choose to visit the bank. And I appreciate especially the real-time emails and texts that I get each time that I use my credit or debit card from First Global Bank. The online banking, I absolutely love it because there is so much that I can do with online banking at First Global Bank. It's very easy to navigate. And I also love the video teller machine that they have in some of their branches. It is time saving for me, and usually I'm very busy. So if I do have to pass by the bank, it's in and out within minutes with their video teller machine. Throughout the years, some of the standout support or outstanding support that I have received from people include support I got from my parents, who were very emotionally supportive. And now I get a lot of support from my husband, my sister, my brother, and from my professional organizations to which I belong. And this is something that I would encourage women in general to do, to seek support when you need help. Network, it's very, very important. I belong to Jamaica Association of Private Pharmacy Owners, the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, and we have a WhatsApp group called Pharmacists Connected, in which we have 256 pharmacists. Now that's huge when it comes to support and when you want to run ideas by other people who are like-minded, who are having the same experiences as you are. The Jamaica Association of Private Pharmacy Owners group, I am very involved in that on a daily basis in terms of listening and learning and hearing what are the latest trends in our pharmacy field. I believe that networking is very important. As I said before, where for me, it's networking with friends who happen to be professionals, and as I said, with other pharmacists. It is extremely important to a female in business. When I started out, I'd heard this thing that a woman has to work twice as hard to get half as far as a man. I'm still not sure about that, but I would say that for me, for women, we need to invest in lifelong learning. We need to seek out new knowledge at all times. We need to keep up with the technology. invest in ourselves as women. And we need to take time to listen to the things that are uplifting and nourishing, and to also to listen to the people that are uplifting and nourishing. I want to take the opportunity to wish all the women across the world happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Shut it.
Let us welcome Melanie Levy, CEO, Candy Craze Candy Bar and Creamery, customer of Scotiabank, Jamaica.
Hi everyone, my name is Melanie Levy and I'm the CEO of Candy Craze Candy Bar and Creamery. We are located upstairs, Fontana Waterloo Square. At Candy Craze, we have over 200 different types of candy and chocolates to choose from. We have a wide selection of ice cream. We also have dairy-free ice cream as well, which is super amazing. We have a cold stone slab that you can smash toppings into your ice cream, really creating fun and unique flavors. We make our own waffle cones fresh daily in store. We have amazing malt shakes, blizzards, and milkshakes. We also do cotton candies and Hawaiian snow cones. We have candy cocktails and non-alcoholic mocktails, which are infused with dry ice and bubbles up, and they're super fun. At Candy Craze, we're all about creating one-of-a-kind experiences. We have a fun and dynamic team that when you come in, we sing to you. We really make you feel welcomed and just energized and excited to be at Candy Craze when you come inside. We're all about creating fun, unique experiences the entire family can enjoy. I also wanted to take this time to talk to you a little bit about my experience during, the pandemic, during COVID, and how it has really affected me personally and how it has affected Candy Craze and strategies that I use to cope and to get through it daily, because it's something that you have to take each day at a time. So I opened my second location, which is this Candy Craze Fontana location, in October 2019. I was super excited to embark on this new journey. It was almost like a rebirth for me, and I couldn't wait for 2020. And 4 months in of having my second location, COVID hit. Wow, that was a blow. It really, really was. I mean, at Candy Craze, we rely on people coming into the store. I make 80% of my sales between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. And that was all shattered overnight. Persons didn't feel safe leaving their house. You had, restrictions in terms of curfew hours. My biggest days, which are public holidays, we had to close at like 1 o'clock. I've literally opened for 2 hours. That was really, really, really challenging for me. And what really made me get through it was just my mental strength. In 2020, I made a promise to myself that I was really going to work on myself, really work on developing me. Because the truth of the matter is that you can't grow your business unless you grow yourself. And so I read a lot. I surrounded myself with like-minded people, persons that I could bounce ideas off of, persons that would help motivate me, help drive me, help encourage me. That was very, very, very important. I'm also a part of a business community. I'm a part of Action Coach. I have a business coach, and she really, really helped me, especially during this time. We have a group that called Mastermind. And what we do is that we have different books that we read and we apply it to our business and we speak about it collectively, because we're all entrepreneurs going through similar things, just dealing with COVID. And I found that to be an extremely, extremely, extremely useful tool to help keep me motivated, energized, to continuously or to continue to progress during this difficult time. And so giving up was never an option. Failure was never an option. And I really controlled or tried to control the thoughts. Because what you think becomes what you say, and what you say becomes what you do. So controlling the thoughts that entered your mind was very, very important. And I really just tried to focus on, how am I going to get through this? What do I need to do in order to get through this? So whether that's creating DIY kits, whether that's offering curbside pickup, whether that's, asking, going on live on my Instagram, on my social media, speaking about the different products or services that we have on Candy Craze, whether that's, emailing everybody on my WhatsApp list that have kids that I think would benefit, or like, one of my kits, I was continuously, reinventing, coming up with new different ways to get people into the store or to sell a new kit or a new product, in order to, keep all my team members employed, keep Candy Craze moving, keep us on the map. That was my focus, just getting through it. And I just really narrowed in, and I really focused in, and I relied a lot on my support system, which is my amazing family. My husband is amazing. My friends, and as I said, my business community, to really, really push me up and motivate me. That allowed me to really, really protect my mental strength. And that is what I use to this day to kind of keep going, to keep persevering, and to keep moving through. Because that's all you really can do, And for me, giving up is not an option. Failing is not an option. So I don't allow it to enter my mind. Make sure you surround yourself with positive people, surround yourself with people that will give you ideas, people that will inspire you. My friend said to me, Melanie, there's only one way to go after COVID, and that's up. So once you can get through COVID, it's going to be amazing. I thought, wow, that will be Candy Craze. That will be me. I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when the job is done. And I really try to focus in on that every single day. So as much as I sometimes want to give up, as much as I sometimes feel like I can't do it, which you'll have those days. Every day is not going to be perfect. But just know that you have control over the next day. And even though today didn't go as planned, tomorrow will be better. And you have to say it into being. Speak positivity into your life so you can attract that into your life as well. And I'm a strong believer in that. So some days might hit me down and I feel like I can't get back up, but I wake up the next morning and I say, yes, I can do this. And that has also allowed me the opportunity to help my team members, motivate them, encourage them, create a space for them where they feel like they can speak and talk about their issues, because we're all going through it together as a team. So it's important not to forget about them. I need them. So, I think COVID has also made me a little bit more empathetic. I took the opportunity to really sit down and speak to my team members, see how they're feeling. Because at Candy Craze, what's my core? Who am I at my core? We share happiness, which means that my team needs to be happy and bubbly and outgoing. So it's important to create a space where they feel like they can share their problems and you can help as much as possible. Communicating with them constantly is so, so important. And really that's what I've done during, this whole COVID period. I've really focused on my mental strength, focus on building deeper and more meaningful relationships with my team members, letting them know that it's okay, I understand what they are going through, and really just try to create a space where people can be happy. And that's what we do here at Candy Craze. I make them feel like they're part of the process. My success is their success. Their success is my success. And so I really, really work on that. I work with them. And that's what I've done to help move through and to progress through Candy Craze. And also it's super important to have partners, amazing partners such as Scotiabank, who's been so amazing to Candy Craze and to the M Group. And I want to just thank them personally for everything that they've done for us during this time. They've really allowed us to continue moving, and it's super important. So thanks, Scotiabank, and I'm open to any questions that you may have. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that I helped in any way that I could, and I am looking forward to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Wow.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry to say we're at the end of our show. I know that you all will have questions, burning questions for these amazing women who were speaking, and we have had a couple come in by Zoom. I know we're over time, but we're going to take a couple quick questions, and we're going to ask the rest of you to send in your questions by Zoom, and we will have our panelists respond to you separately. So we have a couple questions here. The first one is for Carol Sharp. Mrs. Sharp, are you happy and fulfilled now that you are on the bench as a judge? I should have said Justice Sharp, right? Are you happy and fulfilled now that you are on the bench as a judge? And is there something else that you feel you need to do professionally?
Well, you see, being a judge is public service. And that's what we are, public servants. And I am so happy that I am the judge that you will see when you come into the courtroom. One, I have practiced many areas of law. I was a prosecutor. I did medical malpractice. I tried many personal injury cases. I practiced in federal court. And here I am back in state court as a judge. So one of the things that guide me is my background. And I treat everyone, especially what we call pro se, the unrepresented individuals who come into court, I treat them the way I would want my parents to be treated. I believe in respect. I believe in being patient. Lawyers have a lot of cases, and I've been that lawyer who have asked for an adjournment. So I believe in being kind, and I'm happy that I am the judge, given my temperament, given my basis of knowledge, and given my commitment to treating everyone with respect.
Thank you, Justice Sharp. If anyone has any other questions for Justice Sharp, feel free to send them in and we will submit them to her. The next question I have is for Mrs. Eva Lewis. Hi, Eva. Now that you are the first female head of Citibank, the next question is, what's next? And how will you empower other women to follow your lead?
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm really glad that question was asked, because I didn't spend enough time talking about the fact that one of my biggest passions is in fact mentorship. I actually am the chair of the mentorship committee of Women's Leadership Initiative. And I think it is such an important role. As I said, I was mentored right throughout my career. What's next? Certainly when I do retire, I definitely feel that I have a role to play. And in fact, I have thought about how do I play a role, a more structured role in mentorship of young women. And it doesn't necessarily mean young women, but of young people, because I think it really is the bedrock, particularly in this type of virtual environment where things are so different to how we were coached and mentored throughout our lives. So definitely what's next is going to be for me personally and hopefully professionally facilitating that mentorship passion that I have. I mentor a lot within City in a formal way. A lot of women on my team, fantastic women. We have a strong passion for diversity, and you know, the women on my team are amazing. I mentor young people, even in the context of my daughter's friends. I invite them on the veranda. We talk about things, very open to engaging young women across the various sectors. At any point in time, I love nothing better than to engage in conversation with young people, to share my experiences and see if they can be impactful. So what's next? And thank you for asking. Mentorship, my passion, and certainly something that I'm going to continue beyond my career at Citi. And just let me just say how absolutely inspired I am by listening to these young women today. Justice Sharp, certainly Suzanne, awesome. That these young women who I heard today seemed wise beyond their years and really and truly inspired me. And I believe a lot in reverse mentorship, to be quite honest with you. I think sometimes some of us need to take a page out of their books and listen to them and have them guide us sometimes on their journeys, because life's a trajectory. It's our role and our lives are not what is consequent now. So thanks very much for asking me that question, and deep passion of mine. Next role definitely will include mentorship.
Thank you, Eva. I do want to say thank you also for your chairing of the mentorship committee within the WLI. We are grateful, and you are very good at what you do. We don't have time for more questions. I do see several are coming in over the Zoom link. Please send them in the chat. We will distribute them and get back to you. I do have a message for Ozette. We wanted to tell you, can we pull up Ozette?
Hi, good evening.
We wanted to tell you that we are rooting for your success, and we are certain that your hard work will pay off. I think your story, I think it touched everyone that listened, and just everything you have been through, everything you are going through. Power to you. We are so proud of you. We are proud of all of the entrepreneurs who are on this panel today.
I so appreciate everything. I really, words can't express the kind of support that I'm feeling right now from you guys. And I don't know, God is good. God is good. Just stay true to yourself and, you know, maintain. I saw the question, and I mean, how I dealt with the sexual harassment was just to have blinders on. You know, as a woman, you are intuitive, and you know when men's energy are inclined to other things other than business. So, you know, maintain focus, maintain your why. You know, I know that being a moral, upstanding woman will translate a lot to my two boys, and I don't want to seem as someone that is of a loose upbringing. So I always do that, project positivity whenever I'm dealing with them. I'm so overwhelmed by you guys and the response. I'm just really being honest with my journey, and I'm glad to inspire. I'm glad for the opportunity to be on this big platform with you lovely, strong women. Thank you so much. God bless you.
I also want to apologize for Suzanne. She had to step away. She couldn't stay till the end, and she wanted us to give you all her love. And I'd like to say to everyone who came on, thank you for joining us today. And I want to say to our entrepreneurs and our three lovely ladies at the beginning that we are inspired by your journey, and we will continue to move forward thanks to your stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe I speak on behalf of all of us when I say this has been a wonderful evening. What a treasure trove of journeys to inspire us and guide us on our own journeys. We thank you all for sharing with us. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Citibank NA, Sagicor Bank, National Commercial Bank, CIBC First Caribbean, Scotiabank, JMNB Group, First Global Bank, First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union, Gleaner Premium, and JNN. Good night, everyone. Please stay safe.
Wow. Yeah. Shut it.